This call is now being recorded.
The next point is frame structure of GSM. What is the frame structure of GSM? The specific frame has been allocated for individual users. There are number of frames we have seen. This topic has to become for a MCQ point. For a MCQ point of view, this is very important. Okay. Before starting to the frame structure of GSM, what is the main uh, idea of this frame structure? Why they are implemented this frame structure of GSM is nothing but we are sending a burst of data. Burst of data is nothing but a coded data. That is a bunch of data we have started sending. In that point, we are going to use this frame structures. For this frame structure of GSM, we are taking the help of some of the channels. Which are those channels? One is a forward control channel, second is synchronization channel, and random access channel. These are some of the channels we required for using the frame structure of GSM or dedicated control channel. These are some of the channels. What is forward control channel? This is the main function of this forward control channel is to just sending, just yes, it has to forward a specific data that has to be taken care in this forward control channel. What is synchronization? Synchronization between nothing but there is a good relationship between the two signals. There is a good relationship between the two data that has to be taken care of this synchronization channel. Random access channel. If any user wants to access any network that has to be accessed randomly, that has to be taken care by this random access channel. Once the network has been allocated to the individual users, we have to they have to assign a specific channel. That channel is nothing but what? Dedicated control channel. So these are the some of the channels we require for this frame structure of GSM. In this frame structure of GSM, we are seeing in the diagram, you are seeing some of the frames. Which are those? A one frame, a single frame consists of total of 8 time slots. Single frame consists of total 8 time slots. Remember this, total 8 times. So that is from 0 to 7. 0 to 7. One frame is having a total 8 time slot. That time slot is from 0 to 7. And the time required to complete one frame is nothing but what? That is of 4.615 milliseconds. If you want, you can write it down. This will ask you in the MCQ for a one frame, for a one frame, for a one frame, the time required to complete a one frame that is of 4.615 milliseconds. 4.615 milliseconds. That is of in a one frame there are total 8 time slots. And again, number of frames we are using. Total one is multi-frame, one is super frame. The multi-frame is having total 26 frames. Getting the point? The MCQ, they will ask you the question that is, the multi-frame is of how many frames? That is of 26 frames. The 26 frames is nothing but that is from 0 to 25. That is from 0 to 25. And one more frame we are using, that is of super frame. Super frame is having a 52 multi-frames. Super frame is having a 52 multi-frames. So that is from 0 to 51. That is from 0 to 51. You write it down. The multi-frame is having a total 26 frames and a super frame is having a total of 52 multi-frames. Okay. And the time required for this multi-frame to complete this is 120 milliseconds. The time required is of 120 milliseconds for multi-frame. 120 milliseconds for 120 milliseconds for multi-frame. And the super frame is required. Super frame is required a time is of 6.12 seconds. 6.12 seconds. Write it down. For one frame, there are total 8 time slots. For this one frame, the time required is of 4.615 milliseconds. and for multi-frame, the total is of 26 frames. 26 frames. The total time required is of 120 milliseconds, and the super frame is having a 52 multi-frames. 52 multi-frames, and the total time required is of 6.12 seconds. 6.12 seconds. You have seen that only three blocks. One is super frame, one is multi-frame, and one is frame. And the last block, that is a one individual time slot. One individual time slot is nothing but a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are total 8 time slots. For 0 time slot, it is the block. It is the block. That is from which is the last block. You are saying 357, 126, 157, 3, 8.25. This is individual time slot block. This is the individual time slot frame. That is a 0 block. That is time slot. This is a frame. For a 1 time slot, this is the frame. Second, this is the frame. Similarly, for up to 7, this is the one of the block, the one frame that has to be used. This is very, very important. How they are using? For individual time slot, we are using total 156.25 bits. For individual time slot, we are using the total bits is of 156.25. 156.25, and the total time required is of 576.92 microseconds. Total time required is of 576.92 microseconds. Remember and write down this point. Write down this point. That is, for individual time slot, the total number of bits for individual time slot is 156.25 bits, and the time required is of 576.92 microseconds. 576.92 microseconds. And in individual time slot, which are the blocks required? Or which are the blocks present in this? One is a tail bit. Second is coded data. Third, stealing flag. Fourth, midamble. Again it is repeated. Stealing flag, coded data, tail bit, and last is of guard period. We'll see the explanation in next. Okay. The tail bit is of 3. Coded data is of 57. Stealing flag is of 1. Midamble is of 26. Stealing flag, again it is 1. Coded data, again it is 57. The tail bit, again it is 3. And the guard period, that is of 8.25. The addition of all these numbers, that becomes 156.25 bits. The addition of all these numbers, that becomes 156.25 bits. So how they are going to calculate? We'll see the calculation over here. Okay. The frame is one where the number of time slot is repeated. A frame total time slot is of, that is from 0 to 7. Total time slot TS0 to TS7. The one time slot duration time, how much? You have seen the one time slot duration time is of 576.92 microseconds. One time slot duration is of 576.92 microseconds. And the number of bits transmitted during one time slot. How many times? For one time slot, how many bits were transmitted? That is 156.25. Here we have seen 156.25 bits were transmitted. So you have to calculate for individual time slot. For individual time slot, how many time slot is there for one frame? That is from 0 to 7. Total 8. So duration of one frame is nothing but total 8 time slots. So 576.92 is the time required for individual time slot. So into 8, that is becomes one frame. So the total is of 4.615 milliseconds. If you want to calculate for each individual time slot, or if you want to calculate for each bit duration is nothing but what? The one time slot duration divided by number of bits transmitted during one time slot. The one time slot duration is what? 576.92 divided by number of bits transmitted, that is 156.25 bits. So that becomes 3.52 milliseconds. Okay. And the transmission rate, if you want to calculate for an individual bit transmission rate, if you want to calculate for a individual bit transmission rate, that has to be calculated by 156.25 divided by 576.92. So if you want to get the particular transmission rate, that has to be becomes 270.833 kilobits per second. 273.833 kilobits per second. So if you want to, again, there are number of parameters if you want to calculate, that is user, for one user transmission rate, individual user, for individual bits, that has to be calculated, that has to be taken care by 270.833 kilobits per second divided by 8, that has to be becomes 33.854 kilobits per second. 33.854 kilobits per second. This is how they are going to calculate for a time slot has to be required, and for how many bits has to be required, that has to be calculated by individual frame structure of GSM. And in the last block, we have seen some of the words, that is of tail bit, coded data, stealing flag, mid-amble, and the guard period. What is the meaning of this? We'll see here. So one time slot is having number of bits. That is what tail bits is. The main function of tail bits. The main function of tail bit is what? It has to be present at the start and end of the air bit time slots. It is present at the start and end of every time slot to distinguish between the each time slot, that is to be transmit and to receive the signal, or to transmit and receive the data, that has to be taken care by this tail bit. So this tail bit is always present at the start and end of every time slot, that has to be taken care once the data has been transmitted and the data has been received. So that has to be taken care this tail bit, beginning of the time slot and end of the time slot. That is the meaning of tail bit. Coded data. What is the meaning of coded data? The coded data is nothing but what? In total 156.25 bits, total 156.25 bits, the coded data, the actual information has to be transmitted, that is of 114. How it becomes 114? That is 57 plus 57. 57 plus 57, that becomes 114. So actual information of 114 bits has to be transmitted in 2-bit sequences. In 2-bit sequences, that is of 57 and 57. So that is what? Coded data. This is the actual information to be transmitted out of 156.25 bits. The actual information has nothing but what? 114. This 114 bit has to be transmitted in 2-bit sequences, that is of 74, which is nearer to the close to the beginning and end of the every time slot. This is to be beginning and end of the every time slot. That is what? Coded data. What is stealing flag? The stealing flag, the main function of stealing flag is nothing but what? Whenever the data has to be sent, if there is a actual information has to be transmitted, if there will be actual information has to be transmitted, the stealing flag will become 1. If there is a actual information has to be transmitted, the stealing flag will become 1. If there is a control information has to be transmitted, if there will be control information has to be transmitted, the stealing flag will become 0. The stealing flag will become 0. That is what the function of stealing flag. The mid-amble. The mid-amble is nothing but what? It is having a total 26 training sequences we are using. The 26 training sequences. This training sequences has to be taken place. Why? Because whenever we are sending any of the data, you have to you have to train and test and train the particular data. That has to be required for this mid-amble. So the total 26 bits has to be required for this training the data. That is the main function of Midamble. Already again it is repeated. Stealing flag is again repeated. Coded data is again repeated. Tail bit is repeated. Last bit is of guard period. What is the main function of guard period? The main function of guard period is it is act like a security. It is act like a security. There will not be any overlapping. There will not be any overlapping between the two signals or the two datas. That has to be taken care by this guard period. It is to be present at the end of the every time slot. The guard period is present at end of the every time slot due to because of there should not be any overlapping between the two signals. There should not be any overlapping between the two signals. So that has to be required in that is guard period. That is the function of guard period. So this is what the concept of frame structure of GSM. The frame structure of GSM for MCQ point of view, you have to write it down very, very important. For a one frame, there are total 8 number of time slots, that is from 0 to 7. The time required is of 4.615 milliseconds. And for multi-frame, total 26 frames are there, that is from 0 to 25. 0 to 25. The time required is of 120 milliseconds. Time required is of 120 milliseconds. And for super frame, there is 52 multi-frames. 52 multi-frames. The time required is of 6.12 seconds. Time required is of 6.12 seconds. So this is what the frame structure of GSM. For individual time slot, there are many number of blocks we are using. The one is a tailbit, one is coded data, stealing flag, Midamble, and the guard period. These are some of the blocks we are using for this individual time slots. So total bits we required for this is 156.25 bits, and the time required for individual time slot. Time required for individual time slot is 576.9 microseconds. 576.92 microseconds. That is what the concept of frame structure of GSM. Frame structure of GSM. We'll move to the point number 6. Point number 6 is authentication and security. Authentication and security is nothing but what I already told you. When the user has been authenticated, when the user is authenticated, the respective user is authenticated, he had his respective proof in that particular location. That proof is valid. Based on that, he has to purchase the particular SIM card, and that SIM card code has to be present in that particular MSC offices. And once it is get authenticated, the user is authenticated. So for that we require some of the information that has to be HLR, VLR. So HLR is what? Home location register. Home location register, you have to store a permanent address in that. You have to store a permanent address in that home location register. Visitor location function is to store a visiting. The user is changing the many locations. User is changing the locations. That information has to be stored in that visitor location. That is of VLR. For authentication purposes, we require a key. That key is also present in that MSC. That key is also present in that MSC center. If those key matches, if that key is matches, the user is authenticated. And for authentication purposes, we require some of the identifiers. You already seen those identifiers. We already see those identifiers. That is what? IMSI, International Mobile Subscriber Identity. This is required for authentication. And second identifier is TMSI. TMSI is Temporary Mobile Subscriber Identity. Why? Because if he is changing the locations, once the user is changing the locations, that is required TMSI, that is Temporary Mobile Subscriber Identity. And next identifier required is location area identity. Location area identity, that is of LAI. And next is authentication key, that is of key. Authentication key, that is of KI. So this is what the concept of. So these are some of the identifiers. These are some of the identifiers we require for authentication purposes. And again, we require some of the algorithms. And those algorithms are nothing but A3 and A8 algorithms. A3 and A8 algorithms has to be required for encryption and decryption of the data. Encryption and decryption of the data, we require some of the algorithms, that is of A3 and A8 algorithms. So whenever he has given some of the examples, that is whenever we are going to purchase a subscriber identity model, that is your SIM, in that SIM there is a PIN is present. If that PIN is correct, then and then only the user is authenticated. If you entered that PIN for incorrect, if you entered that PIN incorrect for three times, the user's SIM card is blocked. If you enter the PIN of your SIM card is incorrect for 3 times, your SIM card is blocked, and you have to meet to the respective vendor. If he has one unlocking key, that is of PUK, that is personal unlocking key. If that vendor is entered that PUK, that is personal unlocking key, then and then only your SIM card will become activated. If that vendor is also entered that PIN incorrect for 3 to 4 times, the SIM card will become useless. The SIM card will become useless. So these are some of the examples he has given how they are going to purchase a SIM card. If you entered a PIN for activation of a SIM card, if you entered PIN incorrect for 3 times, that becomes blocked. And if you meet a respective vendor, we have to purchase that SIM card. If he has used the personal unlocking key, then the SIM card is become activated. If that person is also entered incorrect PIN, that becomes SIM card will become useless. So this is how they are going to use this. So this is how the authentication has to be taken place. This is very, very important. Very, very interesting point. How the authentication flow has to be taken place. How the authentication flow has to be taken place. See, mobile station is there, that is MS. MSC VLR is there, that is a mobile switching center or visitor location register. And next is HLR, home location register, and authentication. So whenever user wants to make a call, first request has to be sent to the MSC. Okay, request access has been sent. That request access is nothing but International Mobile Subscriber Identity, that is IMSI. That request has to be forwarded to the HLR, home location register. Means what? This person, this person has to be located, you have to check it. That has to be sent forward to the HLR through the IMSI. Once the HLR function is get over, that request has been sent to the authentication center with the IMSI. The authentication center, the IMSI, once the IMSI will reach to the authentication center, the authentication center will generate two waves, that is 2 codes, that is of what? Which are those codes? We are written here, that is of random and key. These are 2 forms, 2 keys has to be generated, that is of RAND, random and key. Once these 2 code has to be generated, these 2 code has to be given to the 2 algorithms, that is of A3 algorithm and A8 algorithm. A3 algorithm and A8 algorithm, which is present in your SIM card. A8 and A3. Once these 2 codes have to be generated, A3 and A8, These two has to be given to the two algorithms, that is nothing but your A3 and A8. Once these two random and K is given to the A3, it has to be generated one more code, that is of SRES. Okay, a random code, that is of SRES, Cyrus. And A8 algorithm will generate one more code, that is ciphering key. KC stands for ciphering key. Once all these codes has to be generated, once all the three codes has to be generated, these three codes as called as a triplets. These three codes has to be called as a triplets. That is three triplets: random, RAND, Cyrus, SRES, comma KC. That forms a triplets. Once these triplets has been generated, those triplets has to be given back from authentication to the HLR. Those triplets has to be given back from authentication to HLR. In that HLR, once those three triplets has been received to the HLR, that is a random, SRES and KC, these three triplets has to be reached to the HLR, and HLR will send those triplets to the MSC VLR. MSC VLR. But when these three triplets has to received at the MSC VLR, already in MSC VLR, two codes has been stored. One is SRES and KC. Two codes has been stored, that is of SRES and KC. That is what, once these two codes has been stored, the remaining is of only a random key. So it sends only the random key to the MS. Okay. Once the random key has been received at the MS, again at the initial stage of your mobile, the mobile is also having again a A3 and A8 algorithm. This A3 and A8 algorithm is also generate SRES and KC. Okay, SRES and KC. So SRES and KC will forward again from MS to the MSC. Okay, MSC, already we have KC here. So if this two SRES Cyrus key will matches, the authentication has been done. Authentication has been done. So this is what the flow has been taken place for authentication of individual users. See how the process has been taken place for the authentication of a individual user before connecting the call. Before connecting the call, that has to be taken place, authentication. Three triplets has to be generated. Three triplets has been generated. That is of random key. Second one is of SRES, and third is of KC, that is ciphering key. If these three triplets has to be moved from authentication to the HLR, HLR to the MSC, MSC is already stores SRES and KC, and it will send only the random key. Once the random key is generated, MSC is already having the key, that is random and key. It has to be given to the A3 and A8 algorithm, and this A3 and A8 algorithm will generate the SRES, that is a ciphering key, and the SRES Cyrus key. So this key and will given back to the MS to the MSC. The MSC will check all the keys, so that the key will match. That has to be, authentication has to be taken place. So this is what, how the authentication has been done. And the second point is security. Well, how the GSM security has been taken place? How the GSM security has been taken place? The GSM security is operated on two sides. One is of operator side and second one is of customer side. Operator side, second is customer side. We are the customers, and the operator is, we are using the SIM card, we are using our mobiles, and those are the operators, different vendors, network Airtel, Jio, Idea, Vodafone. These are some of the operators. So operator side, which is the security is required, billing should be the right person. The billing has to be applied for a respective person who is going to access the network. That has to be, the billing should be right person. should provide system to avoid fraud. There should not be any fraud between the any of the network. That has to be taken care by this operator side. It should protect their services against the attacks. So there should not be any leakage of the data. There should not be any leakage in the signal. That has to be taken care by the operator side. That is operator. And the customer side, we are the customers. What we have to taken care? We should have a privacy. Nobody should be able to detect their identification or their location. They should be taken care by this. And next, communication on the air should be encrypted. Whatever the communication is going on, that is through air, that has to be weather, that has to be encrypted. And we have to take care, should be able to change the mobile equipment independently. We are changing the mobile independently, not with the any of the customers. So that has to be taken care by, that is to be security has to be taken care by this GSM security. There are two sides, one is operator side, one is customer side. And some of the security mechanisms, which are the mechanisms we have taken, and shouldn't add much load to the voice calls and data communication. There should not be any load in the voice call or the data communication has to be taken place. And next, shouldn't need to increase the channel bandwidth. We can't increase the bandwidth of the channel. Don't increase the bandwidth of the channel. Next, shouldn't increase the bit error rate. Okay, BER, bit error rate has to be taken care by this, increasing the bit error rate. And shouldn't bring expensive complexity to the system. There should not be expensive in the system. That has to be taken care by this security. Should be useful and cost efficient. Whenever you are going to purchase your mobile, if this should be all the parameters are there, all the benefits are there, the cost effective is there, we can easily purchase that particular SIM or a particular mobile. That has to be taken care. It should be able to detect suspicious mobile equipment. If you want to detect any of the mobile has to be detected by using this any of the network. That has to be taken care by this security mechanism. So this is what the 2 points we have covered today, that is of GSM frame structure and